Hello and welcome to this conversation about the frequency portal.
Yes.
Yeah, I say conversation because let's be real, and we're going to be real straight with you here. We attempted to record tutorials for this 2 times at least.
Yeah.
2 separate times all the way through. I mean, really difficult attempts. What we realized is that we do best in conversation. We're actually meant to show up to you in the way we show up to one another. Mm-hmm. So we're doing this. We're going to relax. We're going to nerd out about the frequency portal along the way. We'll show you how we work with the portal. We're going to show you how we navigate the website, and we're going to at least begin opening a window into how it is that we enjoy deriving value from this particular well of amazement that is the frequency portal. So in this regard, there will be some tutorial moments.
Yeah.
But the real juice is this moment.
Yeah. We're going to talk about how we like to use it, how we use it daily, and why we're so excited about it, why we're even talking about it in the first place. There's so much to love about the frequency portal that I couldn't really do the tutorial without wanting to just jump in and talk about all the things that I love about it, explain to you guys how we use it. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to keep it real casual and
we're just going to be excited about what we're excited about. I think that was the major lesson for us in those previous attempts. We were actively withholding the best part, the excitement, thinking that we should begin by offering you a technical tutorial, and then maybe later, if there's time, sharing what we're here to share today. We're just going to put it all together, and we're going to trust that what's most authentic and most alive is always what you most need to hear. Yes. So we invite you to join us in this moment. We've got ourselves a couple of, here will be advertisers here. There you go. A couple of yummy porters to join us for the journey. We invite you to kick back with a yummy drink of your own, and let's talk about the frequency portal. We always start with a quick cheers, a quick thank you, I love you.
Thank you, I love you. Cheers,
and then
baby.
A quick sip. Cheers. Yeah, although when we're drinking beers, we would say beers, baby. So cheers to you too. Yum.
That was
okay.
Good.
That's hitting the spot. So frequency portal.
Yeah.
Obviously, we've both worked with our signature edition of the frequency portal. We're going to use Laura's primarily as an example. As we move in and out of these examples, we may share the screen with you. We're actually going to share the screen in just a moment so that you can see what we're working with. For the most part, I want to spend as little time on shared screen format as we can because I prefer speaking to your eyes. But for starters, we'll pull up Laura's portal. We'll show you a couple of pieces of the portal presentation that we want you to be aware of. This whole conversation is assuming on some level that you have your frequency portal in front of you.
Yeah.
One thing we did say in each of the tutorial takes that I absolutely want to say right at the outset is thank you.
Thank you.
If you've purchased your frequency portal, thank you on your own behalf for providing this very special gift for yourself. We cannot begin to communicate the value inherent to this apparently tiny little product. Right. It's invaluable. So thank you for recognizing that. Thank you for investing in yourself, and thank you for trusting us to produce that for you.
Yeah.
And if you're watching this out of curiosity and you have yet to treat yourself to this special experience, what are you waiting for? By the time you finish this video, you should have every reason to go and spend a few bucks on this very special gift to yourself and join in the conversation, because every one of these portals adapts itself to everyone who finds it. Yours will be different from Laura's, will be different from mine. That's the point. That's a part of what makes them so unique and so valuable. So that said, I'm going to share the screen. Okay. I'd like to begin by showing you Laura's portal. So give me just a moment to pull that up. Boom. Okay. So here's the picture of the frequency portal you should be familiar with by now. let's assume you've scrolled through it, you've read the introduction, you've already read, I would hope by now, this section on how to use the frequency portal. Our intention today will be to share our way of going about using the frequency portal. We've got some little hacks that we really enjoy leaning into, especially with regard to navigating the website. Along the way, this will be a very casual presentation of our method. If you ever feel lost, you will always have this initial tutorial sheet to return to. We'll begin with Laura's star frequency here. But before we dive into that, I'd like to show you this page. Currently, it's the second to last page of the portal. This is one of our favorite references. This is a go-to source for all of your 6 unique personal frequencies in one place. We find ourselves using this fairly often. It's also a really helpful cipher. It shows you how it is that we are deriving that particular frequency, that particular value for you. So you can actually look at the title or the phrase, statement, declaration, whatever you prefer, that is producing the frequency that you find down here in each of the 6 modules.
Yeah, each cipher is distilled into a number frequency, essentially.
Yep. So that said, we're going to pop back up to, I think it was page 6. Yep. Okay, perfect. To this. In this case, you'll notice that Laura is working with the frequency of the number 33. That is her star frequency, right? In addition to the 33, she's going to be working with the amplified expression of that frequency. In this case, that's the number 330, which again, in this case, is a 33 with a 0 beside it. Numerologically, this is significant. This means that her frequency of 33 is carrying with it in the 330 a special amplification of all of its energies, of its unique signature. This is a divine layer of protection and also kind of a divine quality of expression. It's a higher frequency of that same general essence, so to speak. That's what we mean by amplified frequency. She has a Liberated Tarot member, which is going to correspond to the frequency of 33. In this case, it's the 5 of Swords. And she has in each of these 6 different positions or 6 different modules, 2 angels that she's going to be working with. In this case, it's the Angel of Light, the 11th angel, and the Angel of Revelation, the 33rd angel. Is there anything you would point out?
Just to point out that each of the 6 personal frequencies that you're going to meet inside the frequency portal has a description of what that frequency means. So you have kind of a jumping off point to know going into your research sort of what you're going to be looking for, how it's going to pertain to you. And you'll also connect that to the cipher that this frequency is being derived from. So in the case of my star frequency, it's coming from the cipher, I am Lara. Correct. Which, as we know, these are really powerful statements. When you connect the I am statement to your first name, it's telling the universe essentially who you are. And so that's what you're going to be looking for when you go to the website and start researching your frequency.
Yeah, we do that on purpose. It's a declarative statement. It's taking ownership of your role as a Lara in this case, or a Timothy in my case, or a you in your case, right? So you mentioned the description of each different frequency, each personal frequency. These descriptions are stunning.
Oh, they're so good.
Not only do they present a framework or a context within which you will discover these new words and ideas, not only do they provide that framework for self-understanding, but the words that we've used to produce the descriptions themselves will land in you. You'll feel them. They are powerful, powerful descriptions. It's like eating something delicious. You want to go back for more over and over again. At least this is true for us. I wrote these descriptions, and every time Laura reads me a piece, I'm going, what's that from? It's like whatever it was given to us in a way that is beyond us.
Yeah.
And it doesn't quit speaking.
Right. This is the flavor of the whole frequency portal that you're going to encounter. You're going to encounter this feeling of, wow, like this is so amazing. I want it to be true. And this is the whole point. You're meant to expand your self-concept to a limitless capacity. I mean, we know that these are just going to keep giving and giving, and that's why we return to them. That's why we're so excited about them. But you will notice that when you work with your frequency portal, when you take in these descriptions, when you take in the words, they feel really almost out of reach. And that's what you're doing. This expansion is meant for you to reach out your hand and grab it and be amazed by it. It is definitely going to require that you open to receive it.
Yes.
So it's almost like a challenge from the universe. Like, are you willing to take what we're giving you and fully receive it?
Yeah.
It has been such a fun like journey to move through these different frequencies because they're just such enormous gifts.
Absolutely. It's meant to stretch your comfort zone. It's meant to take you beyond your previous sense of self. So when it feels high and mighty or a little out of reach, that's the point.
That is the point.
And I like how you said that. We're being called to reach out and take it. I would add one little refinement, which is that the universe never challenges us.
Right.
But it does call us, and it does invite us, and that is always to more, and that can feel challenging only in those cases where you feel like you're supposed to remain in place.
Yeah. If, it's almost like we feel like we have to keep our egos in check somehow. Yeah. Do we actually have permission sort of feeling? And absolutely, yes. The answer is yes, yes, yes. If you love different modalities of self-discovery, such as, your astrology or human design, or even personality tests, if you love the just this deep dive of really getting to know yourself, this is a quantum leap. This is like so far into the stratosphere, but it's where we're all being called to go.
Yes. You're going to hear us saying that a lot in this conversation, and it never gets old. Okay. What I'd love to do to the best of our ability is kind of get past the part of sharing a screen.
Okay.
I want to show you a few things. We want to show you a few things, but I'm the one managing, so that's where that comes from. And then I would love to just come back to face-to-face conversation so we can riff on everything we've seen and really expand on these ideas.
Yeah.
On the application of these ideas.
Definitely.
Okay. So in this case, you will want to take note of two things primarily. The first is the frequency number, and the second is the Liberated Tarot card. These two things are going to take you everywhere else you need to be. All right. So let's open the 64angels.com here. All right. You're now on our homepage. What you want to navigate to, and this differs a little bit from the description that you're going to find in the how to use section of your portal. We're going to show you our way in, our favorite way in. You want to beeline for the Liberated Tarot, the Crystalline Codex page. You find the Liberated Tarot on the Crystalline Codex page. So there are two primary ways of accessing this. The first, if you're on a computer, is real easy. You just click on the word Codex and it takes you there. The second, whether you're on a computer or a cell phone, you won't need to use a drop down on the cell phone. You can just simply scroll down and click on this guy right here. This is our favorite way, regardless of what device you're using. We click on this figure. It opens the Crystalline Codex or the Liberated Tarot in a new tab. When you scroll down, you'll notice that you can search for the Liberated Tarot member either by frequency or by name. So you can be scrolling, in this case, looking for the 33 or the 5 of Swords. In either case, it will become very apparent when you arrive. Simply click on this card. This card now opens in another new tab. This is by design. We want you to be able to track your steps. So if you need to go back to the Crystalline Codex, perhaps for the next module, you can simply return to this database of Liberated Tarot members and select the next one. In this case, we want to focus on the 5 of Swords. You'll see here that on the 5 of Swords page, you have the frequency itself. There's your 33, there's your 330. You have the prime instinct, that is represented by this particular tarot member. You have, in this case, what is a sword virtue of daring, and you have 2 angels. The angels are represented by this icon of 2 human beings because we are the angels. Mm-hmm. The angels are in us. Mm-hmm. So you'll see that you're working with the angels of light and revelation. If you scroll down a little further, you're going to find that you have these drop downs. You can learn about each of these things in detail in these drop downs. For example, if you want to know whether the angel of light and the angel of revelation are connected to a particular number, which they will be in every case, you can simply scroll down and see that the angel of light is 11, the angel of revelation is 33, which is a perfect representation of what you found over here. It all matches, okay? The reason we love this page as home base is because from this page you can navigate to all of the other tools and resources you're going to need in order to just blow this whole thing right out of the water, mm-hmm. in order to truly begin deriving benefit from the portal itself. So, before I move on to what those resources are, have I forgotten anything that you would wish to add?
No.
Okay, then we cruise right ahead. The first thing you'll want to open is this. If you click on the lighthouse or the frequency icon, it's going to open the words table in a new tab. The words table is our spreadsheet that you're going to utilize over and over again as you're navigating your frequency portal, because this is what decodes the value of the numbers that you've been given. Mm-hmm. The fact that your personal frequency is 33 means next to nothing until you start following some of these steps and you connect that 33 to the words we just saw over here. The 33 connects to this prime instinct to polarize, this virtue of daring, the angels of light and revelation. Right out the gate, you have a lot to work with right there. We want to go deeper though. We want to access the words table, scroll down, and type in the number 33. When you do this, your spreadsheet will simply populate with all of the words and phrases that resonate at the exact same frequency as this number 33. These are all matches to your star frequency, or in this case, Laura's star frequency. You're going to do the same thing with your frequency, whatever that number may be. You can check the amplified frequency. In this case, we would just add a 0, and you're going to find yet more entries. In some cases, the amplified frequency will not produce any results. That's because, that's because these higher frequencies are much more rare. That said, we are constantly adding to the words table. So if you check a frequency and you don't find any entries now, check back again in a week or a month. Mm-hmm. You're bound to find that frequency communicating something at some point. Mm-hmm. We have frequencies ranging all the way up to like 1700. I mean, they're all over the place, but they certainly become more spread out and more rare in the higher numbers. So you really want to keep an eye on this.
Yep.
This is how you use the words table. It could not be more straightforward. You're just going to scroll through these words. You're going to collect these words, and we're going to talk to you about how to go about doing that, how to use your own intuition to identify which words are meaningful for you. But for now, you know how to access and utilize the resource. Mm-hmm. Okay? If you jump back here to the 5 of Swords page and you hover over either of these 2 angels, you can click on the angel to access the angel index. The angel index can also be accessed in the primary navigation up here simply by clicking on the word angels. We love accessing it this way because it's a direct line. You're basically just selecting icons to navigate from one page to the next. In this case, you clicked on the 11th angel of light, so you would want to scroll down to this until you see either the number 11 or the word light. Keep in mind that even in this case where you don't know the numbers, without ever referencing the numbers here or returning to your portal to find it, you can still find the angel by its word, light, okay? Same thing with the numbers. If you have the number but not the word, no problem, you look for the number. What you're going to find here are the 3 bands represented by that angel. These are the angel's expression in the first word, the angel's pathway in the second word, and the angel's embodiment in the third. We would read it this way. The angel of light walks the pathway of the seer to become the embodiment of angelhood. We would repeat this process up here for the 33. The angel of revelation walks the pathway of reflection to become the embodiment of reverence. You want to do this for every single one of the angels you meet along the way, whether you're accessing them because of what you see here, or whether you're accessing them from the tarot member page. You're going to find the same results in either case. This will differ in one special case only that I can think of. What is your Phoenix frequency?
52.
52, okay. Laura's Phoenix frequency, the next one you're going to meet in the portal, is 52. What's interesting about this one when we click on it is that this angel of promise is an angel we've met with before. We have a long-form angel session that we have transcribed and included free of charge, word for word, to the conversation we had with this angel on the website. In those cases where one of the angels in your position is an angel we've spoken with, when you click on that angel, rather than being taken to the angel index like we were over here, this angel will automatically take you to its session page. And you will then be invited to read the entire session, the entire conversation we had with that angel. You can download and print that entire session so that you have access to it in print. You can take notes, you can highlight, circle, underline, whatever you enjoy doing. In this case, the 3 bands of expression that we mentioned are here. The angel of promise walks the pathway of desire to become the embodiment of purpose. So in either case, whether you're working with the angel index or whether you're guided to an angel session, you'll have access to all the words. And again, in some cases like this, a whole lot more. Mm-hmm. Mine this. These sessions are the most valuable part of this entire process. They're more valuable than the Liberated Tarot. They're more valuable than the resources that we're guiding you to. This is the truth spoken in explicit form. Do not miss it. Okay? It's a really special thing if your angel has already spoken, keeping in mind with these sessions that we're going to continue meeting with them. We've had 10 sessions so far, and we will have many more for the rest of our lives. Mm-hmm. So be sure to click on these angels individually to ensure that if there's a session, you're reading it. Okay? So that brings us back to our portal. You've met your frequency, you've met your amplified frequency, you know what words are contained in these frequencies or resonant with these frequencies. You've met the 5 of Swords and everything it has to show you, and you've met your angels. Is there anything you would add?
The stones and the animals.
Let's do that. We're going to jump back here to the 5 of Swords. We'll close out the 8 of Wands. We'll close out the angel sessions. You're back here on 5 of Swords. You had just clicked on this to look at your frequency in the words table, right? What's interesting and beautiful about the way the words table has been designed is that you can access any of the other 3 tables from the words table. In this case, that same frequency of 33 can be used to discover stones, which are resonant with that frequency. This is the stones icon. And also animals that are resonant with that frequency. This is the animals table. If we're on the stones table and we scroll down, we do the exact same thing we did on the words table. We type in the number 33 and we receive results. In the event that the results are mixed like this, you can simply click on these arrows and the spreadsheet will automatically organize to show you all of the 33s first. Then you can learn more about these particular stones to discover all new facets of understanding about yourself. Same thing with the animals table. If you love animals like we do, you always want to reference this, type in the number 33, learn about the animals that you find here. Some of these animals are very familiar. Some of these animals are mythical creatures. Mm-hmm. In every case, what you find here is going to speak just as loudly and just as prolifically as you are willing to allow it to speak.
Absolutely.
So you have all these different avenues of exploration available to you. Some of them, like the stones and the animals table, aren't even overtly represented by the frequency portal, but they all connect. That's a part of why we're recording this video, because we want you to know that. We want you to play with this, to play with these different elements.
Yes.
Before we officially kill this screen share, kill is a pretty strong word. Pause, stop the screen share. I would love to share a picture of your journal.
My journal.
Because we're going to talk a bit more about this, but just so you can have a visual of what this might look like if you take all of this and run with it. Laura has worked every single one of her 6 modules in a very specific way. This would be an example of that. Let me make sure it's showing. Okay, perfect. This is actually a picture of Laura's journal where she has written down all of the words that jumped out at her as being meaningful. This is an example of her Phoenix frequency, as you can see here. She's written the words New Laura because that's the particular phrase that the Phoenix frequency is derived from. She's drawn herself a card up here. She's noted that the 30th angel connects to the emerald. There's a lot of different details she's been able to pick up simply by using what we just shared with you. So we're going to pause the share and close these things down. And now we're going to play.
Yeah.
Now that you see the tools, hopefully understand more how to more readily make use of these tools, now we get to talk about what all of this leads to. What's the point? What's the point of a bunch of spreadsheets?
It's the raw material for you to play with, like Timothy said before. Really, it's about understanding that you have permission to play with all of this information and sort of sift through it and feel your way through it to find out what actually resonates with you, what makes you feel good, what makes you feel bigger, what makes you feel expanded. And you can take it in any direction you want to, but what we were showing you with the journal is kind of where you might want to start. If you start by writing down any of the words or phrases, animals, stones, bits of the conversation that you might read from the angel, all in one place, you can begin to start to get a sense of what calls to you.
You're going to begin to pick up on particular themes. You'll recognize certain themes. We'll talk about this, I think, in a little more detail in a moment, but you're going to use these tools in order to produce a whole new sense of yourself. That's what you're refining. That's the point of this process, is to rediscover yourself in a completely new, a completely original, a completely creative way, and to do all of that under your own power.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay, go ahead.
One thing, totally off the subject.
Yeah.
We need to get you in front of that guitar thing because it keeps looking goofy. So you got to scooch over.
Okay.
Okay, cool. Now you see Laura instead of what's behind her, making it look like you have a big ear or something.
We don't want that.
No. So go ahead and say what you're going to say if you can still connect to it.
Yeah. So what I really wanted to reiterate at the start is that what we're doing with the frequency portal is you're going to kind of approach it as a portal to your higher self. So you're actually communicating with your higher self as you're sifting through all of this information.
Engaging in a dialogue.
You're engaging in a dialogue. It's going to kind of be like a treasure hunt. And the way that you kind of mine for gold is feeling your way through to just what you love. Like, oh, I love that animal, or this word makes me feel good. If it feels like it's too good to be true, it's so good it must be true. That is the point that we're trying to make here.
Yes.
And yes, it's really this journey of self-discovery where you're being called to rediscover yourself, but in a way that feels like you're leveling up.
And again, in a way that is totally self-directed and self-empowered. I think this is very, very important to state and to claim explicitly. If you were to go to an astrologer or a human design reader, like the older version of me.
Or me.
Yeah. You would have somebody else telling you about yourself. After having met everything we've met through the angels and the Liberated Tarot and now the frequency portal, I can't help but imagine that old way of receiving a reading from someone other than yourself as being more or less equivalent to showing up to someone who has attempted to form some version of an image of you in Play-Doh. And they hold it up to the screen and they're like, this is the truth about you. And you're looking at this kind of, muddled up mess of yellow Play-Doh. You're like, wow.
Okay.
Oh, okay. All right. I guess so, because my Pluto is in the whatever. You start to realize how limited that context is, and how even, I would say at this point on another level, how irresponsible that is. You're giving your power away to someone else to tell you what's true about you. Only you have that power. Only you get to decide what's true about you. And frankly, only you have the equipment to validate any ideas about yourself or invalidate those ideas. Only you know what's true about you. And you know the truth by how it feels.
Yes.
So what the frequency portal does is, rather than saying, look at this goofy sculpture I've made of you, it says, here's some really high quality raw materials that you now get to go and work and play with and sculpt until you arrive at something that does look like you. Only you are going to be able to look into that particular mirror. Only you have the fingers, the hands, the senses qualified for producing that particular image of yourself. This is so much more important than this context even begins to communicate. This is profound. We're over here chilling, talking about something we're excited about, enjoying a couple of beers, saying something that everybody needs to hear.
Yes.
You deserve to hear this. It's extremely important that each of us in our own way learns to reclaim our own power. We return to ourselves all of those threads of hope that we've extended toward other people and other people's perspectives and other people's opinions, and yes, even other people's abilities, whether they are psychic or technical, like reading and analysis, like human design. These things have nothing to do with us. Not ultimately. They might be stepping stones along the way, but those stepping stones have got to lead you to some inner center, to some personal center of awareness that knows the difference between truth and falsehood, that knows the difference between, yes, that is true of me, and that can't be true of me. Ultimately, a personal center that knows how to interpret the signs of, the messages and the signs that life is sending all the time. So when you type your number into the words table and you're scrolling through these words, you're going to see a long list of words, not all of which are going to hum with some special significance for you.
Yes.
I'd love to share an example.
That's we should absolutely share an example. And it's a really important point that just because you have a frequency match does not necessarily mean that that word is going to pertain to you at this particular moment.
Yes.
It's really important that we allow ourselves to cherry pick and choose which words are most exciting to us to hear, which words we want to take the time to write down in a journal. Yeah. If it does not excite you enough to write it in the journal, then it's not for you. Don't leave it out. Yeah. That's exactly the point we're trying to make right now.
And it's exactly the freedom that we get in delivering this resource to you, because we're not responsible for telling you anything about yourself. We're not saying every word you find is going to be a hit. We just know that every word included is clean, that there's no fear, there's no limitation, there's no smallness, there's no expectation of anything other than love, light, beauty, and expansion in the tables. So the one thing you can know for sure is that you won't stumble upon anything that makes you feel small. Everything is going to make you either feel neutral or large. If it's neutral, that just means that that particular word right now isn't communicating anything to you on this subtle frequency level. If something hums with a sense of like, whoa, if something feels delicious, if something catches your eye, it's that simple. It's telling you something, and it's your responsibility to recognize that and follow the breadcrumb. Okay? We're going to give you an example of what this looks like, and then Laura's going to tell you how she's even taken that a step further to begin sensing, like, repeating themes. Really cool stuff.
Yeah, but you start to piece together, like, a picture of something coherent. You're matching words and themes.
We're going to do that.
Okay.
But first we need to show them how to feel their way through.
Let's do it.
So I'm going to share the screen again. Boom. Okay. We're going to use my star frequency in this case, which is a 58. So we're going to plug in a new number here. Okay, 58. Now, I'm going to scroll, and I'm going to notice a few things. All right. Absolutely good. Oh yes, I'm claiming that one. This frequency is trying to tell me something about myself. A really, really useful, especially in this position of the star frequency. Remember what the star frequency is. It's placing the words I am in front of your name. I am Timothy. I can do the same thing here. I am absolutely good. This won't work for every word, but in these cases where it does work and you love the feeling of that, own it. Write it down. Literally speak it out loud. In this case, I am absolutely good. I'll take that one. Adaptation. When I read that as I am adaptation, it feels like complete flexibility. It feels like complete freedom. I am literally the embodiment of adaptation itself. Yes, please. I'll take that one too. I am an alchemist. Oh, yes. We play with these words, right? We scroll down. A lot of them are really cool. We come upon something like Angel of Cups. Maybe I don't know anything about Angel of Cups.
But it is an invitation.
Absolutely. So I would choose to follow the Angel of Cups. I would instantly just pause right here, and I would come back to the home page and I'd click on this guy again, and I'd be like, what is the Angel of Cups? Now, I know, and now you will know, that in the Liberated Tarot, there are no cups. The cups have evolved to become hearts. But there is an Angel of Hearts, which is equal to the Angel of Cups. So I would come down here, and I'd look for it. There it is, Angel of Hearts. I would click on this, and I would follow it through. What is it telling me, Timothy, to do? What is this? What is it telling me about my star frequency? Look at these words. Celebrate affection. That literally reads like an invitation or a command. It's telling me to celebrate affection. Now, neither the word celebrate or the word affection or the phrase celebrate affection are connected to the 58. The Angel of Hearts isn't connected to the 58. There's nothing directly connected to the 58 here. And yet we followed these simple breadcrumbs to the discovery of something absolutely profound.
If you found your way there by following breadcrumbs,
you were meant to be there.
It is a direct message
Yep.
from your higher self. The higher self communicates through this method of intuition and guidance. It's that simple. Take it so seriously as if you heard the words in your mind directly, as like loud as this booming voice.
Yes, that's right.
That's what we're called to do.
Yep. You take them extra seriously in a case like this where you feel like, how did I even get here? You were led there. That's how. When we use the word intuition, all we're talking about is sensing your way forward. I'm choosing to claim a phrase like absolutely good because I love how it feels, because it excites me. I'm choosing to look at the word answer and notice that it doesn't mean that much to me right now. I am the answer. I'm playing with it. I'm not sensing anything there. There's nothing wrong with the word. It's not telling me anything right now on this particular pass.
Right.
No problem. Same for breakfast. Okay. It's nice to know, I guess, that the word breakfast resonates at the same frequency as my star frequency, but it doesn't matter to me right now. I don't see any way of like expanding my sense of myself through the word breakfast. So it doesn't end up in my journal. It doesn't come into me as a part of this conversation right now.
Yes.
But the wildest thing that we've found as we return to this over and over again, every few days, every few months, and we'll continue to return to it for a long time. What we found is that different words speak each time. You think you've got it. Oh, I've now developed the new sense of myself that this particular frequency was attempting to communicate. And then you come back literally the next day half the time, and you're like, oh, I didn't even see this word yesterday. Like it literally didn't even compute in my awareness. And so you're working with these things and you're playing with them and you're finding what they mean. You're looking for the emphasis. Intuition is feeling your way forward. If it excites you, it's a go. If nothing happens, move on. You have complete freedom. It is this process that allows for these things to adapt themselves to the participant, to you. That's what makes it so special. I promise that if you typed in the 58 and scrolled through the words and you wrote down your favorites and I wrote down my favorites, some of them would be the same and many of them would not be, because you are you and I am me. And if we did the same thing a week from now, we'd both have different sets of words and yours would still differ from mine. That's the magic of this portal, these tables, this process.
Yes.
Now, as cool as all of that is, hopefully by listening to and witnessing kind of how we would work through these words and select the ones that speak, hopefully now you can begin in your mind's eye to imagine a list of really resonant, really exciting, really beautiful, really uplifting, really expansive words that you've been able to gather from your number. How amazing is that? It's the number 58, it's the number 33, and now you've got this journal filled with gold. What'll you do with it? One idea comes from Laura. This is so creative and so brilliant. I'd never done this before. This is all her. So I'm going to ask you to share what you do, what you notice, and maybe an example so that, we can feel what it is you're feeling.
Yeah. Are you talking about batching?
Yes.
Okay. So what I like to do when I'm combing through the list, I'll be scrolling through the database, the words table, and I'll be writing words down one at a time in my journal. I'll come to a word and it resonates, write it down. I'll come to another word. If that word somehow feels like it connects to any of the other words, I'll write it next to it. I'll batch words based on themes so that I'll start to sense that, hey, there's a big theme here. If I end up having a long list of words in a batch, it means that this is a prominent theme. So for instance, with my Phoenix frequency, which is 52, I batched a group of words and I'll read them.
Yeah, let's use a real example. So this is
a really simple example of how this works. So this is a batch from the words table of words that I felt like they belonged together. Simple as that. Again, you're just following what you feel.
Your gut sense.
If it feels like they go together, they go together. If they kind of mean the same thing, they go together. So this group of words is allowing, in repose, open deeper, permit, willing, and you may relax. So all of those words were under the frequency of 52, and it was really showing me a prominent theme that I needed to know about this frequency.
I'm looking down. She's got many examples in each of her different modules that are like this. Another one that I just can't help but see is delightful, evocative, pleasing, and I see only beauty. So in many cases, you're not only going to recognize repeating themes, but actual synonyms like allowing and permit. They're obvious. Yeah. But what you've done here, I think, is really interesting because you're really using some feeler within yourself to recognize things that aren't directly synonymous, but they clearly speak to a repeating theme. This is Laura's Phoenix frequency. The phrase or title that we use to derive that frequency in this case is New Laura. So what is she learning about herself?
Yeah, it's literally inviting a new sense of relaxation, a new sense of allowing life to unfold for me.
Yep.
It is totally a permission slip to be able to do that, to be in repose. It's absolutely something that for me resonates with this idea of a new me, because for so much of my life I did not permit that, which is another word that resonates at 52. It's about permitting, it's permission. So that's a theme that I took from that and am claiming.
Yeah, she knows that the new Laura relaxes. The new Laura allows. The new Laura gets her hands off and trusts that something beyond her is caring for her. Delight. The new Laura relaxes in delight, permits pleasure, chooses to see only beauty. That's a phrase. This is fun. In those cases where you have a frequency that actually includes very specific phrases and declarative statements, oh man, if it lands and you feel it, that's your new mantra. You're going to find a lot of these too.
Yes.
Especially as you move through this portal from top to bottom.
Yes.
The signature edition in particular has this cumulative effect. As you begin with the star frequency and then move into the Phoenix frequency and so on, you're actually moving into larger and larger frequency expressions in a way.
Yeah.
They're becoming more communicative. They have more to say. They're larger.
Yeah.
And so you are being led through this process of progressive expansion.
Yeah. I mean, I will just say that even though we've designed it to be a sequence. We've designed these frequencies to each kind of build on the next. So when I moved through the frequency portal, I went in order. So from the star frequency to the phoenix frequency. However, again, if something calls to you, definitely listen to that voice. Yeah. If you feel really excited to find out more about your phoenix frequency and you go to that first, there's a reason for that.
Yeah, you're not going to break anything.
You're not going to break anything. There's no right or wrong way. This is the whole point, is to play. Yeah,
very, very good point. I always like to say, work through it from top down one time first. But we all know that if the primary imperative is play, and the primary imperative is feeling forward, and the primary imperative is self-directed discovery, then there is no ideal except for the one that unfolds for you in the moment. So I'm really happy that you said that.
Yeah.
I am much more of like a routine-oriented, even strategy-oriented person by nature, whereas Laura is one of the most creative individuals. I'll be honest, the most creative individual I have ever met. The way her brain works breaks my brain at the time. It's so cool. It blows my mind. So yeah, oh, of course, babe. You saying that is deeply significant because not everyone out there is like me.
Yeah, I think it's really important to allow yourself to be led wherever you're led, and to not think too hard about how you got there. The point is that you got there, and that the universe led you, your higher self led you there, and you were given what you needed to know in that moment that expanded you. That is always going to happen. If that happens, then you can trust it. Yeah. And you don't need to know what kind of circuitous, path you took to arrive at that place. Yep. But that's the fun of it. How these kind of like random synchronicities lead you from one place to the next, and then you find this like gem of information that you get to claim for yourself. Yeah, that's exactly right. And beautifully, beautifully said. Thank you. Yep. You get to afford yourself complete flexibility. That's what makes that's a part, I guess, of what makes this so valuable. It's all about you in a very different way than someone who has spent some time poring over some information that's apparently connected to you, makes a conversation all about you by trying to tell you who or what you are, or where you are or aren't supposed to live, or any other details that we tend to seek outside of ourselves to understand. There is something really special here, and to really understand how unique your experience is, it's fundamental. I mean, I can't help but laugh in my own mind as I'm thinking about the example of this Play-Doh sculpture, the yellow Play-Doh. Yeah. There will be someone watching this video who's like, what's wrong with yellow Play-Doh? I love yellow. And then there's going to be someone sitting right next to him going, oh, that's my least favorite color, and I hate Play-Doh. I hate the way it smells. I hate the way it feels. That's the point here. Yeah. If yellow Play-Doh is on your frequency list, you either take it or leave it. You get to make the most of those raw materials in whatever direction you do. You may find yourself traipsing off into territory that's not even covered by our website or these resources. If this happens, and it definitely will as you become more proficient at following those breadcrumbs, skip right along. Guaranteed, whatever you find out there in the weeds on some website that you bookmarked 6 months ago, whatever it is, it will wrap back around. You will understand what the new you, if you're working with the Phoenix frequency, is because of that journey. There's no wrong way. There's no way to break the system because it's yours. It's yours to make of in any way you wish. Yeah. Yours to play with. That's it. I love the word play. I think it's the most appropriate word for the frequency portal. Yes, it's extremely important to enter into the frequency portal with this understanding or this intention of play, because that is exactly what is going to be the most productive and the most helpful for you. Yeah. It is total permission. It is total expansion. And it's creativity. What we need to be able to understand is that play is the exact frequency that leads you to your truth. It's the exact frequency that you can most trust. Yeah.
one thing we like to play with is frequencies of words, like play. The frequency of the word play is a 21, and the 21 in the Liberated Tarot is the world. If you will permit yourself to play, you'll get the world.
Yeah.
You get to have it all. That's what we're trying to say. And it's absolutely true. Inherent to play, you have openness, you have complete flexibility, and you have curiosity.
Yes.
These are the things that guide you. That curiosity, that deep desire to discover something, to go on the treasure hunt, that is your most valuable asset in this regard. And so you just dig.
Yeah.
And you realize that once you've dug to a point of exhaustion and you have so much in front of you, you've eaten so much of this yummy food that you have to pause and you have to breathe and you have to digest. The promise is that when you come back, there's more. Even if you're reading the exact same words, somehow there's more. This is a living experience. The model itself supports that. That's by design. We have not stopped returning to them.
No.
Not for one day.
I mean, I could read the notes that I've taken on each of my frequencies daily.
Yeah.
It is the gift that keeps on giving. It keeps growing. The words table keeps growing. We have 12,000 entries, and we're only going to continue to add to it more goodness. But absolutely, it's the most amazing, profound offering that we could have created for you. And I'm so excited about it. And I guess I just want to also offer the invitation for the 6-week guided journey as well.
Definitely. Thank you.
If you're feeling a little intimidated by
the process,
the process or how it works, or you just really just want a companion to play with, essentially.
Truly, yes.
There is the option for the 6-week guided journey where Timothy and I will meet with you one-on-one and work with you for each of the modules, each of the different frequencies, so that you feel like, if that's what you need, or if that is just exciting to you, because it certainly is exciting to us.
Yeah, it is.
The prospect of working with others who are interested in the portal. Definitely look into that.
Yep. We'll join you.
Yeah.
It's as simple as that. We'll join you. We're not going to direct the course of your actions.
Right.
But we'll join you in expanding on what you discover.
Yes. And also giving our own examples of how we work with it. I mean, we can't give every single example, obviously, in this, tutorial video, but we will be expanders for you through sharing our own stories.
And because of our willingness to learn and our playfulness in the dialogue that unfolds over these 6 weeks, we're going to learn too. So we're really not showing up in the position of teachers, except insofar as we have traveled certain, trails, so to speak. But for the most part, we're showing up with eyes wide open, excited to find and discover. We're going to be working through ours all the time, just like we already are. So you end up with true companions along the way. And for those of you who really, really want to tap that part of you that is capable of literally sensing forward from one moment to the next, from one word to the other, but don't feel connected to it, that 6-week guided exploration is the opportunity to train up the capacity to do this. That, I can imagine that being perhaps the highest value of the experience for many people in this modern world, where that very part of ourselves has been so powerfully dampened.
Yes, that was
just
the
like a
word
switch turned off. But dampened is like it's
perfect word
covered up.
Yes, and it is just dampened. It's not like it's not there. We all have this capacity to open more. Yeah.
I can't help but think of my one buddy, Sam, one of my best friends in the world. When we first met, one of his greatest questions had to do with intuition. He felt like maybe he was too much in his mind. Maybe he didn't even have intuition.
I used to think the same thing about myself.
Yeah. Well, me too. Yeah. Like, we've all been there.
Yeah.
And now, like, if any of you met Sam, you just want to give this guy a hug because he's the most open-hearted, beautiful person you've ever met. And his whole life is just like the model of intuitive guidance, intuitive movement. Every one of us has this as a natural part of who we are. It does not take long. It is not difficult to tap, but it must be accessed. You kind of have to take responsibility for reawakening that part of yourself. This particular experience, the frequency portals, I can't think of anything more interesting, creative, or effective than this.
Me too.
And that's coming from a guy and a girl who have spent like my lifetime, many, many years, decades, employing alternatives to this. There's a reason life gave us the opportunity to bring this to life, to give birth to this. Obviously, we're excited about it. Obviously, we're aware of its value. Obviously, we're living in the result of its impact, a heaven of our own design. And obviously, we want the same for you.
Right.
And we want it to adapt itself to you in all of the ways you most deserve. That's why we're recording this video. That's why we've shared this time with you. And that's why we recommend the Frequency Portal. Whether it's the booklet itself or the guided experience where we get to meet with you just like this in this exact same room, or whatever direction it takes, we want that for you. So we hope this has been fun, helpful as well, and informative, but most of all fun and exciting and expansive. If you have your Frequency Portal in front of you, we sincerely hope that this video blows open the potential inherent to those 18 pages, however long it is. It's meant to be used. So dig in. And if you need help,
yes,
you know where to turn.
We're here.
Is there anything else you'd like to add before we conclude this? Like a million things, but we're probably good for now?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, there's so much more to share, but I think we've done a good job so far.
Okay. Hey, we can always record another conversation.
Yeah.
So thank you for joining us. Thank you for joining us in every way. Thank you for accepting us as we are and for joining in our moment of celebration with you and the Frequency Portal. We love these opportunities to meet with you. Anytime you cheers, you have to take a drink because then that's how you know that you're celebrating it.
Okay.
This has been wonderful. We look forward to seeing you again very soon. Goodbye for now.
Bye.